Welcome to Girls of East Blog. This broadcast was not intended for audiences under the age of 14 and those self-described as sensitive groups. If this does not apply to you, please continue watching and enjoy.
Buffers! Top buffers wanted to join!
Buffers!
Top buffers! Okay, my camera is looking. Is that better?
Yeah?
Okay.
Hello?
Hi. We're Girls of East Block, baby! We are high energy and we are mobile.
We are mobile. We are very mobile. That is correct. What is going on? I feel like this is like beginning of a horror movie. Like, someone's in the house! Like, you're about to like the Grudge girl is about to like descend from the ceiling. You're like,
No, it's just from that incident last night. I'm like hyper aware of all the sounds. My mom, when she comes to sleep at my place, she complains about the neighbors. I'm like, what neighbors? Like, I don't pay attention to the boom, but now I do because of. Oh, and I saw my neighbor who was the cheating asshole, and he was like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Skirt." Yeah. But I am going to start a Discord server for, like, the entirety of my complex. It's going to be great.
pioneer.
Always.
Woman, a visionary.
Oh,
Pioneer.
you know what? Speaking of visionaries and pioneers.
Hold on. Hold that thought. 1 second. Actually, hold that. I do apologize.
Yeah, she's back. Back again. I think Vladixis wants to say hi too.
Vladik! Wee! Cats are just. I can talk about cats.
We can't talk about them because nobody gives a fuck except us.
Nobody gives.
You have to remember, you have to remember your pre-child state, your pre-cat state. When you feel the urge to be like, do you want to see pictures of my kids? Do you want to see pictures of my cats? You have to remember what it's like on the other side and how
I've
you
always
really.
been in a cat-like state.
Oh, see, I've never had animals before now. Before you.
Yeah,
and before now.
I've had a cat since I was first grade, so I've been in cat culture, cat loving culture.
Cat culture, cat loving culture. Speaking of a lady who
That
loves
loves cats. Okay, that was awesome.
Speaking of the one and the only, the legendary. You want to say it? Should I say it? Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift. Okay.
We got thoughts. We got notes. We got theories.
We watched All Too Well. I watched All Too Well maybe a couple more times than you did because I was just, oh, it was so good. It was just so penetrating to me. I had to keep watching it. I was so curious what you think about it because I know you're not like a fan of Taylor. And no, in fact, I feel like we as a nation have been placing Taylor in this place of kind of being a laughing stock, like a cultural jester, if you will, but you don't laugh with them, you laugh at them. And
ooh, okay.
it's just, and like finally she has gotten to this place where her songwriting and her talent is so undeniable that even the dumb hipster kid, not dumb hipsters, pretentious hipsters, they obviously work hard not to be dumb.
You watch yourself on that.
I know. Yeah, but like, and even the people like you who, again, think they're, how to describe you? I would say pretentious theater kids. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes,
so,
thank you.
There's just all levels of pretensions of people that just underestimated her and didn't give credit where it was due. And like, finally, They are doing it.
The passion. I love it.
They're doing it.
Okay, well, I can't speak for every pretentious theater kid, but as for myself, I will simply say I will give credit where credit is due. The woman is an amazing songwriter. She is talented. Is she the best performer? I think she does do a very good job at performing. However, my bar for performance excellence is a little bit higher. And that's all right. That's just hey, listen, just me,
That's
an
fine.
island onto myself, right? I'm just me.
I know exactly all about you, okay? I could wear your skin. The thing about you is, like, just look at who your idols are, right? Lady Gaga, the woman who literally does the most. The egg, the meat dress. It's a lot. And it's funny that she felt she needed to do all of those things, that she couldn't stand alone as just a talent.
Well, let's put a little asterisk in there as well, because it's not just, it's funny that you went to the outfits first, when to me, the woman that does the most is the woman that can put out jazz albums and get Grammys for it, and can do literally a body of work. Every album is a different feel, a different, she really pioneered the whole, like, how music comes out nowadays in these, like, eras,
Okay, I just want to don't say she did that.
Well, I mean, Beyonce
no, I just
as
don't
well.
want the
I would say
Bowie
Beyonce
people
really
to come for us. Come on.
It's all right.
Music fans are crazy.
People will come for us. It's all right. It's all right. But
ready.
All that to say, Taylor Swift, very talented. Like I said, I was just annoyed because I've seen interviews with her. This is my background. I've seen interviews with her. She seemed smug. She seemed very like, and it's a shtick. Like, to me, writing songs with so many references, so many Easter eggs. It's an Easter egg hunt every time. How many Easters can we fit in one year? It's gimmicky to me. It's not as authentic. But I will say, her first album got me through a lot. I know you're getting ready. You're getting ready to pop off.
There could be 100 people in a room. And if there's one that believes in you, that's all it takes.
And it has to be Bradley Cooper, because no one else matters. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
No, Gaga, if you read comments, Gaga fan base fully acknowledges that she makes these speeches and, like, epic, out of heart, like, I don't know.
She's theatrical. She's dramatic.
Yeah.
She's a pretentious theater kid.
Yeah. I would agree. I will wholeheartedly agree. But anyway, we digress all too well. We digress.
No. I think we're plenty on track, because it's important that our history with the artist is known. But yeah, I knew all that. I know you think all that. You think she has an inferior voice. You loved her Reputation tour, though.
Love that.
That was a banger.
That was a banger. Because I want to see her. Come on, stop cardigans and
cardigans. Okay, this is clearly someone who has not listened to that. It's not like that's my.
I know.
It's
complicated. I'm hard to love. I know.
Listen, I'm not a Swiftie either. Like, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm just, because I'm a Lana head. You cannot serve two gods, okay? But Taylor Swift is someone that I have a lot of respect for, and who, like, when the Lord said, "Vengeance is mine," he literally, like, humiliated Taylor for decades, for the purpose of this great resurrection. And the fact that she stands triumphant before us today, and we, as the people who threw the tomatoes and the words, not that was never me, but we scoffed at her. And finally, it's like I feel like I have to shut up and bow down and praise the tailor. That's what it feels like.
Well, but at the same time, you know, piggybacking off of the Kanye situation, you know, it's like, no, he didn't ask me. And then the phone call gets leaked, and it's like, no, he did. He did tell you. And then it was like, oh, hard stop. He didn't tell me the exact lyrics he would be using. So there was a period where she said, no, he didn't tell me. The phone call got leaked, and everybody came for her. I agree with you. It's like, why? And then it was leaked, and then it was like, wait, but I'm still... And then the second portion got leaked where I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that he didn't tell her the exact lyrics he would be using. Or like he didn't tell her the bitch part, or like where he says, I made that bitch famous. He said, I think me and Taylor might still have sex, you know?
No, but obviously that's like a crucial part. She is not about someone diminishing her ego, you know?
Yeah.
But
and I agree.
No.
Like, that's not okay.
No, I think, look, she does have a tendency to play the victim. But she's been through a lot of cycles of like Hollywood men kind of trashing her.
There we go.
Not running through her though, but still like, no, I even noticed this myself. Like every time you date, like a little part of you gets taken away. It's why I'm just kind of rehabbing in my cold apartment with my cat children.
I respect that. There's power in that.
It's great, like, but I just think in that particular circumstance, like Kanye's already done, like the fucking taking her thunder because of Beyonce not winning.
That was stupid. Yeah.
It's just again and again this girl gets hit down by the waves, and it's time that she rises, and I think we should all facilitate the rise. Okay. So let's fucking get into the meat of it and talk about All Too Well.
Well, I really liked it as a short film. I mean, those are just my few first thoughts when I watched it. It was beautifully done, well directed. I liked the acting. I thought the casting was great. I was not familiar with Sadie at all.
Sadie.
Yeah, the guy, I'd seen him on Maze Runner. I'd seen him around, so I was kind of familiar with him. But I thought they did a really good job. But my kind of first like, oh golly, is just, I would want their fight to be a little bit more substantial. I have thought it was silly. I know, hold on. I thought it was like, and I understand it was back then. She was younger, blah, blah, blah. But that fight about him not holding her hand just seemed very young Taylor, immature to me, to be like throwing a fit over him not holding her hand around his friends, who we now know are older. He's older. Obviously, there's a different dynamic when you're with your friends, and him like not holding her hand during dinner. I understand if he just was like, she means nothing to me, we're just friends, but like he just didn't hold your hand, and then she was upset, you know, you like ignored me and blah blah blah. And so I don't know if I would have picked that issue.
No. Oh, I think the implications are huge, because first of all, this was a 3-month relationship, let's say. Okay. That was that the gossip sites say. How did she, in the song, we know that he met her dad. His mom told her stories about him on the t-ball team. There's a lot of fucking exchange of like people, all right? Like people that are important. Ostensibly, when you meet people that are family, you think that's a relationship. But what I'm gathering from this is that like, if she didn't mean that much to him, and he does this with everyone, brings all his girlfriends around his parents, he brings all his girlfriends around his friends, then yeah, she could have been just another body in a seat on a Friday night. I mean, in the video, he's like, yeah, I'm catching up with friends I've never seen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, why, like, take her like a child that you're babysitting and not acknowledge at all? You know? No, I totally get where she's coming. First of all, I would get mad about that now. If the guy who is with you is embarrassed to show you affection in front of his friends.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh,
the gesturing.
I got the douche cringe, as Shallon would say.
Shallon. Our role model.
Superior Shallon.
Superior Shallon, I like that.
Um,
Okay, so you think the fight was justified. It was a big enough deal and issue to show in this short film and pertains to the gravity and the seriousness of the relationship. So you think that kind of fit in with...
I feel like Taylor is almost arguing against herself, because she's arguing that, like, you gave me a chance. We were so magical together. You broke up with me because you said I was too young. And then she shows the fight over that little thing. That I think, honestly, at any age we would fight about that thing, but she shows that, like, vulnerable, youthful insecurity coming out, and it's like, me watching it, I think an audience watching it would say, okay, this is clearly, aside from the love scenes and the dancing in the kitchen refrigerator light, aside from those scenes where they are alone together, they, in a social setting, do not belong. They don't mesh.
Yeah. I actually, that's a good point. I think you're hitting the nail on the head with the fact that, you know, she is showcasing that, yes, I was young and naive and immature, perhaps, but you are no saint either.
Yes.
Almost like you should have known better.
Yes.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a very good point you bring up. Because my first instinct, like I said, when I watched this, I was like, well, like, this is 80% your fault, Taylor Swift, and 20% his fault, because you set the bar way too high. Like, you are so, you know, in the clouds and so puppy love obsessed with this guy, and he's an older guy, and he's a, you know, established, well, at that time, you know, relatively established actor. Like, you should have, like, my perspective was like, well, you should have kind of known better, and you should have known that there would be some situations, because there is such an age gap. Like, there's a certain point which you won't be able to relate, and he won't be able to relate to you either. Because you come from different circles, right? She's like, you were born with a silver spoon. I was born on a farm by a tree with chickens. And, you know, we're like from two different circles, you know, this and that. But what you're saying actually, like, I see what you're saying. You bring up a very good point. He should have known. He should have been the adult. If he was claiming to be the adult, he should have been, like, the adult in the relationship.
No, but that's the thing, is, like, you're expecting a 20-year-old. Every 20-year-old is under the delusion, and this isn't based on 20. When you're young, you think you're special, and you think, I'm not like the other 20-year-olds. I'm mature. And Taylor has a case for herself, because she's a superstar, and she's a great writer, and she's incredibly talented. But none of that will make up for life experience. It doesn't. And when we get into, like, their histories, which we will shortly, it's gonna be super clear that it was an incompatibility, but it's not something she could have prepared for. Because I think as young women, we are like looking for maybe men to show us kind of the path. Oh, I should have turned off my notice. But okay, like 29 for a guy, like that's when you're just starting to think about like settling down, you know? And Taylor Swift is like the girl that's like ready to settle down from the get-go, you know? So in that sense, it it's just it freaking could have worked, but I have a theory that's so different than any of my other theories. And
wow, lay it on me. Let's get into it.
well, okay. Let's recap what I've previously said. Like my whole thing, which was a total misunderstanding because I didn't do enough research, happens to the best of us, was that Jake Gyllenhaal pretty much uses kind of the women he dates to kind of establish status for himself or like reinforce his status. Kind of like an intellectual trophy, you know, instead of wanting somebody who's a good like a Leonardo DiCaprio wants a physical trophy, right? But there are people that want somebody who's accomplished, somebody who, you know, won Grammys. That's just it. Because I looked at his history and I'm like, he's dated a bunch of it girls and models extensively. So he dated Kirsten Dunst. He also dated Reese Witherspoon. So I'm going to post some pictures now of Jake and his previous girlfriends. I want you to notice that he's looking at them very attentively. And the girls are either oblivious or not looking at him or just there's something unreciprocal there. I think he wants a girl that he wants more than she wants him. At like a shallow glance, you think, okay, he sort of goes after like the girl of the moment. And whether it's like an ego thing where it's like a thing, a notch on the bedpost, you know, he's got to have it, or at least see what it's about. Again, this was my incorrect assumption. And then the creep theory, the Jake is a creep theory. So my other theory is that Jake is a hot creep. And he's a creep in the sense that there's like something uneasy about him. He has been in films like, help me out, Nightcrawler.
Yes.
I
mean, Donnie Darko, Prisoners, Brokeback Mountain. I mean...
No. Creep roles. Like, what's that one with the museum? What is the one with the museum?
Oh my gosh, Nocturnal Animals.
That's not the one with...
No, I know which one you're talking about. The one where he's an artist.
Yeah, he's an artist.
Creepy... You and I watched it together.
Yes. And...
Yeah.
What is it called? For the sake of the people. Velvet Buzzsaw. The, like, weird art horror movie.
Yep.
Where he plays this, like, really pretentious guy. And it's funny because I was watching an interview with him because I finally did my research. And they asked him, so was that easy for you to play? Because, you know, you're so pretentious in real life. And he's like, of course. To which I say, I don't think he's lying. I really think he's that pretentious hipster. Because why? Listen, when you're so separated from, like, the bottom barrel of society and all you do is, like, listen to the best music and go to the best art because you're not under pressure to, like, survive.
Right.
You get to fucking, this little brain of yours gets to be supersized and know a lot of information and a lot of details, which a young person can appreciate listening to. But if you like back and forth and banter, it's not necessarily going to sustain you, right? But that's not the point. My point is creep theory. Creep theory is that it's no accident that he's just so good at playing these creeps. And I do want to mention another thing. The Jake Gyllenhaal meme. The get someone who looks at you like Jake Gyllenhaal, you know? Like, do you know the photos of him staring intently at his partner's food? It's, like, super funny. Yeah, that's a separate dynamic, but that I will put in my what Jake Gyllenhaal actually is segment.
But that's a slippery slope. If I may argue a little bit, that's a slippery slope to say just because he plays creeps that he is a creep.
No, It's not. No, that's why it's a hypothesis. It's not very
Okay.
well supported. It's just my feminine intuition is telling me
Got it. Okay.
that this like golden boy from the good family has like there's a little bit something off because he was broken up with his previous girlfriends. So I'm pretty sure Kristen Dunst dumped him and Reese Witherspoon dumped him, right? Because they sense like a little something. It couldn't be put into words, right? But they still were with him for
That's a good theory. That's a very good theory. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, there could be something there. We just,
yeah,
I
but
don't want to just start spreading misinformation about Jake Gyllenhaal without hard evidence.
I don't want to. This is the method, okay, in action. But
in action.
I'm detailing the things that I thought were true before I did a deep dive. Fish dive. I was in a bar doing a little doodling, pretty much, my deep dive. But pretty much like okay, so let's do a recap of what I actually think happened. So 2002 to 2004, he's dating Kirsten Dunst for 2 years. And he's very young at this time. He's like early 20s. Some people say she got him in his prime. Then there's a bit of a gap from 2004 to 2007, 3 years. And he is ostensibly screwing models, living his best life, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, whatever. Then he meets Reese Witherspoon, and he dates her from 2007 to 2009, so 2 years. And I want to highlight that Reese Witherspoon, though she is an it girl and fits my it girl theory, she is also, at this time, a mother of two with Ryan Philippe, who she met during Cruel Intentions. Right. And she's 31 years old. So I think she was actually older than him at the time, but I can't confirm. Yeah, she was, because she definitely was. And so Reese Witherspoon is like America's Alabama, Tennessee whiskey sweetheart, you know?
Oh my God.
No, I'm not.
What?
We love Reese.
Was that? Tennessee whiskey girl.
I don't know.
Who are you? You'll never work in this town again. Reese Witherspoon has her own production company.
We love
this is where you go.
We love Reese. That's not the point. That was just
God.
Better.
I'm back.
The rules of hair care are finite and simple. Every Cosmo girl would know. There you go. A better Reese Witherspoon.
Thank you.
Anyway. So I thought it was interesting that in her, the other song with the red dress and the wedding and the Miles Teller, I bet you think about me. I think that's where she like attacks his silver spoon upbringing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a hillbilly hooky and you wouldn't love me because you're so pretentious. Well, reading
Which
about
once again, this woman has a gift for making a mountain out of a speck of dust. Okay, he's pretentious. What, like, crucify the man. Like, I get it if he, like, cheated on you or, like, stole your credit cards and started a new life in Mexico with his wife and 3 kids he had previously. Like, I get it if he hacked your bank accounts and he stole $1 million and he like ran off and began like an arms dealing like lifestyle where he became an international criminal. He just was like
how would that even be relatable? Like I can't even relate to the girl who got arrested outside. And he was like, "Fuck you! You cheated on me!" You saw the video. But
so this is what she does. She takes one little thing and like
Hey, it's called a gift for a reason. I also take a little thing called All Too Well and make a 60-minute video about it.
All right.
Also, like, but the reason I mentioned
Switching angles. My hand got tired.
I mentioned that because Reese is not a woman with children, and she also, I think, grew up in like Tennessee and comes from, I don't know if her roots are humble. I don't know if she's like a rich woman, but she's from that like culture, the farmhouse and all that stuff. That's what they would, I think I read in an article that they would like her and Jake would go to Coachella and then they would spend the weekend at the farmhouse. So it's like,
Coachella.
I don't think it was the hokiness of you. Maybe, because maybe you can be hokey, but you can't just be 100% hokey. You have to be something else. Maybe Reese, I think Reese was like, he wanted a family. He was at that like age where he wanted a family and he thought he was ready. And Reese was like, listen, I had 2 kids for a decade. I've actually had children, so playing house, it's like more serious than you think it is. So him, for her, it wasn't quite like a good fit because he didn't have that life experience yet.
I can see that.
So cut to Taylor in 2010. So remember, this ended in 2009. I believe it was 2000. Late the relationship ended, and in Taylor he dated, I believe, October 2010. October, November, yeah, 3 months makes sense. So he had a bit of a grieving period, right? But honestly, if you were with someone for 2 years, you probably need ample time to get over it. I think he was kind of like, Taylor is kind of like Reese. She's a good, wholesome girl, but she doesn't have that baggage of having the 2 kids.
Yeah.
So maybe I can do this with her. But then when but being that he's Jake and that he has had all these experiences and knows all these things, he still needs someone to like be able to bounce back and forth off. Like when I imagine Reese Witherspoon or Kirsten Dunst, I'm like, they're vivacious and they like talk a lot and they have opinions and stuff like that. And I feel like Taylor Swift at the time was kind of like a
oh yeah,
hi, I'm Taylor. Oh, I write songs. They're really good. I need to stop doing impressions. It's not my thing.
No, it is your thing. They're just so...
They're so bad, they're good? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think, like, you just take no prisoners, you know?
No, but the shoulders is the thing. It's like like... And the whole, I'm so innocent, I'm so cute.
I mean, you can tell by the hair. Her hair was just, like...
full of secrets, of course. No,
full of secrets and full of innocence.
Yes, full of innocence. And... like, I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I also think Jake is a collector of experiences. Because when you have it all, the one thing that you can brag about is like things other people haven't done or whatever.
I just think that he...
Let me finish. So,
I'm gonna be here for 5 hours.
In a sense, I feel like him dating Reese was like, ooh, a single mom. That's so exotic. Like, that's so different than, like, all the models I date. Let me try doing that, you know? So, that's, because, I'm like, we have to tie in his pretentiousness somehow. And also people love thinking they're the good guy. Like, oh, I'm such a good guy. Like, I'm so ready for a family, whatever. I'm done.
She's exasperated herself with Jake Gyllenhaal theories, folks.
No, I literally can't stop because I didn't stop. No, did I beat this to death well enough? Taylor was
so.
like Taylor was the replacement for Reese, but she wasn't. You know, he traded someone with the experience he wanted.
I agree.
Without the baggage, but it didn't work. It didn't work out.
Well, I think your theory holds too, because on a very surface level, like, he saw a beautiful young girl getting popular, getting clout, and he attached himself to her, and as an added benefit, it was like, well, if this works out, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's give it a go type thing. But I think from the lyrics we've heard, from the videos we've seen, I think he was, just as she was over her head, she was in over her head, I think that he was too careless, right? And too self-centered to have patience and to have understanding. Can I get an amen? And he was not mature, which holds true to our theory, right? That he was, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm so pretentious, I'm so better, I'm so educated, I'm this, like, whatever. But at the end of the day, which is what she's saying too in her lyrics, is that, no, you are full of shit. So just admit that you're full of shit. Because, you know, just because you have opinions, it doesn't make you a whole, as in, like, complete whole person that's ready to love and accept love.
He didn't give her like a chance.
Right. So he didn't leave her room to be inexperienced, to be naive, to be excited. He didn't give her, like, that patience and understanding, and not compromise in, like, a sense of an argument, but, like, compromise in a sense of, like, oh, I recognize she's maybe insecure about my friends. Oh, okay, I'm going to compensate a little bit more and make her feel secure in this situation. He clearly didn't.
But see, like, a grown man doesn't really want to deal with that.
Right. So can we, now we're jumping on to my point, can we, you know, admit, sort of, that, you know, this is not 100% Jake Gyllenhaal. This is 80% Jake, 20% Taylor Swift, at least.
I feel like every time, you know, you get into a relationship, you are, in the first 3 months, you are testing the waters to see if it can go further. And he wanted to test the waters, but
can we blame him for wanting that?
No, we can't. That's why I'm saying, I'm like, you can't blame him for having a test shot and then it being a complete failure. You know what I mean? But the thing is, when you're young, to you, you don't go in thinking, when you're a young person, everyone is the one. Everyone
right.
is.
Yes, been there, done that.
Yeah. So I don't think he didn't realize how fragile of material he was playing with.
Yeah, I agree.
But the thing is, I don't necessarily think it was age. I think it was just experience and naivety, because there are girls at 21, at 20 that have been around the block, been there, done that, whether with relationships or perhaps their life was particularly tumultuous and it just made them grow up really fast. And again, I think those people would be interesting to Jake because he's an experience collector.
Yeah.
Or like a collector of people like Horace Slughorn and Harry Potter. So I think that he likes them young, whatever, not necessarily an issue. But if it's the naivety he doesn't like. You know? It's like the hell dream where it's like young girl with a wise soul. It's like, ooh, so attractive.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
It's just so unfortunate. Like, I get why she's mad, because she's like, if I had just been given a chance, if I was just like, when you're young, you grow rapidly. I'm sure after like a year or something, she would have been totally different. She would have been mature. She would have known the ropes, whatever. Um, but she never got that chance, because in that 30 or 3-month trial period, he was like, too naive, I too little girl, can't do it, can't handle it.
Yeah.
And well, now it's just a matter of like, when we talk about experience, we're talking about physical experience, right? So you hypothesize that
well, I just think that the reason, and in the cycle of Taylor Swift romances, you know, it was like, it seemed, at least to me, it was one after the other, right? So whether it's Harry Styles, Joe Jonas, this, that, I feel like she, in the beginning, perhaps prior to Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe even after Jake Gyllenhaal, but I think in this situation, I think part of what didn't stick is they were not having sex. And that's my hypothesis, because statistically speaking, right, if the sex is good, the relationship can last longer than 3 months, right? So I think she was waiting for him to meet her emotionally at a certain point, and I think he was like, as all guys like to say, whether or not that's true, we can discuss that another time, but he was saying, I need to get physical in order to really find out how I feel. And although in the video it does show them in bed together, this, that, my hypothesis on this one is either A, she said, you know, I'm not having sex with you until you tell me you love me, because that was part of the, or she might not have exactly said that, but you know, she might have been like, I'm not ready. And so for him, it's like, well, that's part of that immaturity that she has. Is like, well, if you're an adult, sex is sex. I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. What's the problem? You know, you're acting like a girl, blah, blah, blah. Or they did have sex, but then she saw he still wasn't going to say, I love you, you know, call it love. Because I think in All Too Well, she said you didn't call it love.
You didn't call it what it was, yeah.
You didn't call it what it was. So, okay. So we know that. He didn't call it what it was. Why? Well, could physical aspect have been a part of that? Is my question.
You know, I think you're right. And I honestly think Jake is a good enough guy that he would have been like, I don't want to be the one to take this girl's virginity. You know, because I think you and I have had a lot of experience with that. They're like, I don't want to be the one to do the first.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're attached this much now, oh my God, she would have like murdered him in the back of his car. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, now she's right, more mature, blah, blah, blah. But she was so caught up in these feelings. So that's, for me, I think that physical intimacy might have had something to do with this, for him to go, I'm out. Because the video makes it seem like, okay, he was older, he was arrogant, he ignored me at a dinner, but what, you know, it's like, I hate to be Cardi B, but what is the reason? Like, what's the reason, Taylor? Like, what's the reason? She never comes out and says, you know, this is why. This is what the fight was about. In the video, all we see is she's like, what do you mean it's over? What do you mean? And he's like, it's done.
I'm pretty sure that's all we know. We know what she knows, which is that, hey, I think, listen, you're too young.
I can't do this anymore. It's kind of like what it was. Like,
I think we're not in the same space, and I don't want to. scarf though, but I don't want to hurt you.
And I think that's part of it. I think that was a nail, because we know from past, almost sneezed, saved myself. We know from past celebrity relationships, we know, as our guru Shalyn will say, in the most recent Sean and Camila video that she did, which is incredible. I loved it. So, which is going to be another topic of conversation. Typically, celebrity relationships are over well in advance of the announcement. So they break up, they give each other like 2 months before they actually make the announcement, right? So this could have been, who knows when it was. It's 3 months for us, but in reality,
No, Kaja. No, because we know, I don't know when her birthday is, but I think it's in December, and she missed her birthday, and that's how she knew it was over.
Because he didn't show up. Yeah. I mean, I think that is my last thought, is that I think there's layers to this cake, but ultimately, I think that she wasn't ready, and he wasn't ready either.
But the magic of Taylor Swift, that even though we logically came to this conclusion when we watched the video, it still sends me. Because it just screams missed opportunity to me. And the thing is, Taylor she sacrifices so much for her art, because she could have gotten Jake back if she would just shut the fuck up. She could have gotten another chance. I believe it. Because she could have gotten older. She could have had the experiences. It could have worked out. But the fact that she went on blast on this guy and aired out all their dirty laundry, it's like she burned the bridges. She decimated that landscape. And she did it for us. Well, she did it for herself. She wrote it for herself, but for her to put it up there, she's either like a girl that's like, fuck it, I'm digging 2 graves. This is my revenge. Or she
is a marketing genius that knows how to make money off of her emotions. And
look, I don't think you understand like the gravity of what she's doing. You don't get it, because she is sacrificing like future happiness.
She's happy with Joe.
No, but at the time when she released this,
well, I think she was hurt. I think she was really hurt. And, she says it herself. She keeps the maps of where all the hatchets are buried, right? So she knows what's up. And she said it before. On Ellen one time, she said, Joe Jonas, I think, broke up with her via text message.
Oh my God.
And then she later was like, I was young. I learned, just to not say that kind of thing. Like, okay, I spoke a little too quick on this one, and I think she put it out. It's great. It's good music for sure. It's emotionally intuitive, connecting music, 100%, but at the same time, part of her brand is dragging past lovers like really heavily. So.
No, yes, but you don't get that is hinged her relationships. Yeah, she's happy with Joe Alwyn, but she's like 31 now. I think they started dating at like 29, something like that. That was still a long decade of woes and heartaches and like not being successful. And
but I don't think she ever wanted Jake Gyllenhaal back. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think when you put out that album, like, yeah, okay, you can look at it as a sacrifice. I look at it as like, this is helping her purge her feelings and helping her get it out of her system for sure. Well, so I don't think what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think she wanted a future, because once you put out that record, once you put out that music, like, you know, if she thought there was still a chance, I don't think she would have done it. But I think she just decided, like, I'm grown now. I was so hurt. Never again. Like, he's done. Him and I are done.
Well, okay. So this,
I like that little glasses.
This anime glass. You weren't done with me. So they broke up in December 2010. She put out Red in 2012. So this was a wound festering for 2 years. 2 years.
Wow.
And honestly, I don't, and as she toured, she continued touring to 2013, whatever. She was crying on those tours every time she would sing about it. So no, she was absolutely sacrificing herself for her art, for her fans.
Okay.
For us to have the relatability, for us to have something we can point to and say, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And no, don't say that she didn't want him back. She'd probably trade her fame and everything if she could get it back. Not necessarily with him, or him right now, but like the magic of what was.
Okay.
I think this is what makes us girls. We are all look for heaven and we put our love first. Something that we die for. It's our curse.
Is that Taylor Swift?
No, that's Lana. Hey, that's Lana. You fucking imbecile. Sometimes you just disappoint me.
You and my mother. Cha-ching.
How's your mom?
Oh, my mom, она всё хорошо. She's fabulous. She's great.
Okay. Can't wait till she's
back. Все отлично. Since we're girls of East Block, we have to throw at least a little Russian in this.
Duh.
Gotta give people some context for our sassiness and our brash interactions, which would be another great topic to discuss, is how, you know, our upbringing makes us who we are, in a sense, right? Like, the cultural milestones in Russian upbringing
I don't
make you a whole breed of woman.
Oh yeah.
Entirely different.
The superior breed, I'd imagine.
I hope.
No, but I didn't say it.
I didn't say it, but I said it. Well, fab girl, I gotta go. I got a jet. I'm in this parking lot. These people are like coming in and out of their business. I don't know what to say, but I think all in all, I've learned a lot. I've perhaps gained, not fandom, no, but gained some empathy and perhaps a different perspective on Jake Gyllenhaal. That bastard.
I know, and it's too bad that during this conversation we are so gentle with him, because that would have been some clickbait title, dragging Jake Gyllenhaal. Did I drag him? I didn't drag him.
I think you psychologically, like, dismantled a part of him for sure. You know, his whole pretentiousness and his affinity for clout chasing and dating, you know, collecting people.
No, it's not clout. It's industry and peer recognition. Clout is like when you care about numbers. It's not that. It's definitely not. It's deeper and more sinister, what the upper echelon gets up to. But that is a topic for another time. So this has been Girls of East Block, and we're so happy to be with you. Please subscribe and join us again during one of our other rants. Okay, love you, babe. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, love you. Wait, now I have to figure out how to end this.
Cut.
Who put me in charge of this? Okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. Got it.
You sneaky little voyeurs. Come back next week for more. Bye.